Top 25 graphic designer interview questions and answers. Prepare for graphic designer interviews with concise, practical questions and detailed answers. This guide builds confidence, clarifies expectations, and showcases thinking for recruiters and managers. 1. What is graphic design, and what is your process? Graphic design is visual communication that solves problems using typography, imagery, color, and layout. I begin by understanding goals, audience, and constraints, then research competitors and gather inspiration. Next, I sketch concepts, build wireframes, and choose a clear visual direction. I iterate quickly, seek feedback, and refine details for clarity and impact. Throughout the process, I prioritize accessibility, consistency, and brand alignment. Finally, I prepare production-ready files and document decisions. This structured workflow helps me deliver thoughtful, effective solutions that balance creativity with strategy while meeting deadlines and maintaining measurable outcomes. It improves collaboration, trust, efficiency, quality, and client satisfaction. 2. How do you approach a new design project? I start by reviewing the brief to understand objectives, audience, tone, deliverables, and success metrics. I ask clarifying questions to remove ambiguity and confirm scope. Then I research the brand, competitors, and users to ground ideas in context. I create mood boards and sketches to explore directions quickly. After selecting a concept, I build digital drafts and test hierarchy, color, and typography. I share progress early, invite feedback, and iterate. I manage versions carefully and document decisions. Before delivery, I proofread, check accessibility, and export optimized files. This disciplined approach reduces revisions and produces results clients trust and approve files. 3. Why is typography important in design? Typography communicates personality and guides readers through content. I begin by choosing typefaces that match brand voice and improve readability across sizes. I pair fonts with clear contrast between headings, body, and UI labels. I adjust hierarchy using scale, weight, spacing, and alignment to create predictable scanning patterns. I fine-tune kerning, tracking, and line length for comfortable reading. I test on multiple devices to ensure consistency. I avoid excessive styles and prioritize accessibility by checking contrast ratios. Thoughtful typography elevates credibility, improves comprehension, and strengthens visual identity across every touchpoint. It also supports localization, scalability, legibility, usability, and performance goals. 4. How you use color theory in your designs. Color theory helps me evoke emotion, establish hierarchy, and reinforce brand recognition. I select palettes using harmony principles such as complementary, analogous, and triadic relationships. I consider cultural meaning and audience context before finalizing hues. I test contrast to ensure accessibility, compliance, and legibility across screens. I use color intentionally to guide attention, signal states, and group-related elements. I document palettes and design systems with usage rules. During production, I manage color profiles and export settings to preserve accuracy. When used strategically, color strengthens storytelling, improves usability, and creates memorable experiences that support business goals consistently across channels everywhere. 5. How do you handle feedback and criticism? Feedback is essential, so I receive it with curiosity rather than defensiveness. I listen carefully, ask follow-up questions, and confirm understanding before reacting. I separate subjective preference from objective goals by referencing the brief and user needs. When I disagree, I present rationale supported by principles, data, or testing results. I prioritize changes based on impact and timeline, then iterate quickly. I summarize decisions in writing to maintain alignment. This approach builds trust, keeps projects moving, and improves outcomes. Over time, consistent collaboration reduces rework and helps stakeholders feel heard while preserving design quality and momentum throughout complex cross-functional engagements. 6. How you manage multiple deadlines. I manage time by breaking projects into milestones with realistic estimates and buffers. I prioritize tasks using impact and urgency, then schedule focused work blocks. I maintain organized files, naming conventions, and version control to avoid confusion. I communicate early when scope changes or dependencies arise. For tight deadlines, I simplify concepts reuse components from design systems, and prototype quickly. I avoid perfection paralysis by defining acceptance criteria. After delivery, I reflect on what worked and update my process. This disciplined planning enables consistent quality while meeting commitments and protecting creative energy across multiple concurrent projects for sustained long-term productivity. 7. What makes a strong design portfolio? My portfolio showcases problem-solving, not just aesthetics. For each project, I include context, goals, constraints, and measurable outcomes. I explain my process with sketches, iterations, and rationale to demonstrate thinking. I curate work that aligns with the role and remove outdated pieces regularly. I present case studies clearly with concise storytelling and strong visuals. I optimize images for fast loading and mobile viewing. During reviews, I tailor walkthroughs to interviewer priorities. A focused portfolio builds credibility, communicates versatility, and helps stakeholders quickly understand how my skills translate to real business impact. It also highlights collaboration, adaptability, reliability, and ownership. 8. What is a design system and why is it important? Design systems create consistency, speed, and scalability across products. I contribute by defining tokens, components, patterns, and documentation. I collaborate with developers to ensure feasibility and alignment with code libraries. I audit interfaces to identify inconsistencies and propose improvements. I establish governance with contribution guidelines and versioning. I educate teams on usage through workshops and examples. Over time, systems reduce cognitive load, improve accessibility, and accelerate onboarding. By measuring adoption and iterating based on feedback, I help systems remain useful rather than rigid artifacts, supporting sustainable growth for evolving organizations. They also improve quality, predictability, efficiency, collaboration, and trust internally. 9. How do you stay updated with design trends and tools? I stay current by following industry publications, attending webinars, and learning from peers. I experiment with new tools and side projects to understand strengths and limitations. I study fundamentals regularly because trends change but principles endure. I track updates to accessibility standards and platform guidelines. I seek critique communities to challenge my assumptions. I document learnings and share insights with teammates. This continuous learning mindset keeps my work relevant and improves problem solving. It also helps me advise stakeholders with confidence, making technology choices that support long-term maintainability and measurable impact. Curiosity, humility, discipline, and practice drive sustained growth daily. 10. How do you handle creative disagreements with clients or teams? When conflict arises, I anchor discussions in shared goals and user needs. I listen to understand constraints, then propose options with clear trade-offs. I use prototypes and data to move conversations from opinions to evidence. I remain respectful and solution-oriented, even under pressure. If necessary, I escalate with context and recommendations, not complaints. I document decisions to prevent future confusion. This approach preserves relationships while protecting quality. Over time, teams learn to trust my judgment because I demonstrate consistency, transparency, and accountability across projects with diverse stakeholders and competing priorities. It fosters alignment, momentum, resilience, ownership, credibility, and results. 11. What software tools are you most comfortable using? I am most comfortable using industry standard tools such as Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and Figma for interface and collaborative work. I use Photoshop for image editing and compositing, Illustrator for vector graphics and logo design, and InDesign for layouts and print materials. Figma helps me collaborate with teams in real time and manage components efficiently. I also explore tools like Canva and CapCut when projects require quick social media assets. I choose tools based on project needs rather than habit. This flexibility allows me to work efficiently, adapt to new workflows, and deliver high-quality results consistently. 12. How do you ensure your designs are user-friendly? I focus on understanding the target audience before starting any design. I research user behavior, preferences, and pain points to guide decisions. I use clear hierarchy, readable typography, and intuitive layouts so users can navigate easily. I test designs by asking others for feedback and observing how they interact with the work. I apply accessibility principles, including strong contrast and simple language. I avoid clutter and prioritize clarity over decoration. By designing with empathy and purpose, I ensure the final product feels natural to use, supports user goals, and create a positive experience that builds trust. 13. How do you deal with creative block? When I experience creative block, I step back and return to project goals and audience needs. I review references, explore inspiration platforms, and analyze similar successful designs. I sketch ideas freely without judgment to restart momentum. Sometimes I take short breaks, because rest often refreshes creativity. I also discuss ideas with peers to gain new perspectives. Breaking large problems into smaller tasks helps me move forward without feeling overwhelmed. This approach keeps my creativity active and prevents frustration from slowing progress. Over time, I have learned that discipline, curiosity, and process are stronger than waiting for inspiration alone. 14. What is the difference between vector and raster graphics? Vector graphics are created using mathematical paths, which means they can be scaled to any size without losing quality. They're ideal for logos, icons, and illustrations. Raster graphics are made of pixels, so enlarging them can cause loss of clarity. They are commonly used for photographs and detailed images. Understanding this difference helps me choose the correct format for each project. I typically design logos in vector format using Illustrator, while I edit photos in raster format using Photoshop. This knowledge ensures professional output, correct file preparation, and high-quality results for both print and digital media. 15. How do you prepare files for print projects? For print projects, I begin by confirming specifications such as size, bleed, margins, and color mode. I work in CMYK to ensure accurate color reproduction. I use high-resolution images and check that fonts are properly embedded or outlined. I add bleed and crop marks where required. Before final delivery, I review the file carefully for spelling, alignment, and technical errors. I often export print-ready PDF files according to printer guidelines. This attention to detail reduces costly mistakes and ensures the final printed product matches expectations. Proper file preparation shows professionalism and protects both client budgets and project timelines. 16. How do you measure success of design? I measure success by comparing results with the original goals. For marketing designs, I review engagement metrics such as clicks, shares, and conversions. For branding projects, I consider consistency, recognition, and client satisfaction. For user interface work, I look at usability feedback and task completion. I also gather qualitative feedback from clients and users to understand emotional impact. A successful design solved the problem it was created for, not just looks attractive. By evaluating performance and learning from outcomes, I continuously improve my work and make stronger decisions on future projects with clear evidence and practical insights. 17. How do you maintain consistency in branding? I maintain consistency by following brand guidelines that define colors, typography, tone, and visual style. When guidelines do not exist, I help create them. I use design systems, templates, and reusable components to ensure every asset aligns with the brand. I review past materials before creating new ones to stay consistent. I also communicate with team members so everyone understands a visual direction. Consistency builds trust and recognition, which is essential for strong branding. By balancing creativity with structure, I help brands remain memorable while still evolving naturally across platforms, campaigns, and different types of communication. 18. How do you work with non-designers on team? I communicate clearly and avoid technical language when working with non-designers. I explain design decisions using business goals and user needs rather than personal taste. I use visuals, mock-ups, and examples to make ideas easy to understand. I encourage questions and feedback to create collaboration instead of separation. I listen carefully to their expertise because strong results come from shared understanding. This approach builds trust and makes stakeholders feel included. When communication is respectful and simple, projects move faster, feedback becomes more useful, and the final design benefits from diverse perspectives and stronger alignment across the team. 19. What do you do if a client has no clear vision? When a client lacks a clear vision, I guide them with structured questions and examples. I ask about their goals, audience, competitors, and preferences. I present mood boards and reference styles to help them react and clarify direction. I provide multiple concept options so they can compare and choose. This process transforms uncertainty into clarity. Instead of waiting for perfect instructions, I take initiative and lead with empathy. Clients often appreciate this guidance because it reduces stress and builds confidence. By helping them discover their vision, I strengthen the relationship and ensure the final design truly supports their business objectives. 20. Why did you choose graphic design as a career? I chose graphic design because it combines creativity with problem solving. I enjoy transforming complex ideas into clear visual communication that helps people understand and connect. Design allows me to influence perception, support businesses, and create meaningful experiences. I find satisfaction in seeing my work used in real life, whether in branding, digital products, or marketing materials. The field constantly evolves, which keeps me motivated to learn and grow. Graphic design feels like a purpose, not just a job, because it challenges my mind, expresses my creativity, and allows me to make a positive impact through thoughtful visual solutions. 21. How do you handle tight deadlines without sacrificing quality? I handle tight deadlines by focusing on planning and prioritization. I begin by clarifying the most important objectives, so I do not waste time on unnecessary details. I break the project into smaller tasks and complete them in a logical order. I use existing templates, design systems, and reusable assets to speed up production while maintaining consistency. I communicate openly with clients or team members about timelines and expectations. If needed, I propose simplified solutions that still meet goals. This approach allows me to stay calm, organized, and efficient while delivering professional quality work even when time is limited and pressure is high. 22. How do you incorporate accessibility into your designs? I incorporate accessibility by considering all users from the beginning of the design process. I use strong color contrast to support readability and avoid relying on color alone to communicate meaning. I choose clear typography and appropriate font sizes for better legibility. In digital projects, I design with logical hierarchy and spacing so content is easy to scan. I also consider screen reader compatibility and simple navigation patterns. Accessibility improves usability for everyone, not just users with disabilities. By prioritizing inclusive design, I help create experiences that are respectful, effective, and usable for a wider audience, which adds real value to any product or brand. 23. What is your approach to logo design? My approach to logo design begins with understanding the brand identity, values, and target audience. I research competitors to ensure differentiation. I sketch multiple concepts before moving to digital tools because this encourages creative exploration. I focus on simplicity, scalability, and memorability when refining ideas. I test a logo in different sizes, colors, and applications to confirm versatility. I also gather feedback and make adjustments based on clear reasoning. A strong logo should work across platforms, remain timeless, and communicate meaning quickly. By following a structured process, I create logos that are not only visually appealing, but also strategically aligned with the brand. 24. How do you deal with revisions and scope changes? I deal with revisions by staying organized and maintaining clear communication. I confirm feedback in writing to avoid misunderstandings. I compare requested changes with the original brief to see whether they align with goals. If scope changes significantly, I discuss timeline or cost adjustments professionally. I remain flexible but also protect the quality of the work by explaining the impact of excessive revisions. I treat revisions as part of collaboration, not conflict. This balanced approach helps clients feel supported while keeping projects under control. By setting boundaries and expectations early, I ensure that revisions lead to improvement rather than confusion or frustration. 25. Where do you see yourself growing as a graphic designer? I see myself growing by developing stronger strategic thinking and expanding my skills across branding, digital design, and user experience. I want to contribute to larger projects that require collaboration, leadership, and problem solving. I plan to continue learning new tools and technologies while deepening my understanding of design fundamentals. Over time, I aim to mentor other designers and help build creative systems that improve team efficiency. Growth for me is not only about better visuals, but also about greater impact. I want my work to influence decisions, strengthen brands, and create meaningful experiences that help businesses and audiences connect more effectively. Graphic design interviews reward clarity, confidence, and preparation. By mastering these questions and answers, candidates can communicate their value effectively, demonstrate strong thinking, and stand out with professionalism, creativity, and purpose.